What if the most dangerous moment for a modern fighter jet isn't during takeoff or landing, but while its pilot believes the sky is completely under control? For weeks, Russian fighter aircraft had been patrolling occupied airspace over southern Ukraine and the Black Sea region, flying missions designed to hunt Ukrainian drones. According to open-source flight tracking and satellite imagery reviewed by international media, these patrols were routine by 2023 and 2024, meant to intercept slow reconnaissance UAVs before they could spot air defenses or troop movements. The assumption was simple and deadly. A fast jet would always dominate a small drone. On one such night, a Russian combat aircraft reported by multiple Western defense analysts to be a MiG-29 variant, operating from Crimea, took to the air under standard procedures. The pilot followed familiar routes, relying on onboard radar, ground-based air defense coverage, and electronic warfare systems designed to detect and suppress unmanned threats. From the cockpit, everything looked normal. No radar spikes, no missile warnings, no radio chatter suggesting danger. Hundreds of kilometers away, Ukrainian operators were preparing something very different. According to investigations by outlets such as The Economist and confirmed through Ukrainian military briefings, Ukraine had increasingly relied on long-range, low-cost drones adapted for strike roles. These systems were not designed to win dogfights. They were designed to exploit human habits, radar physics, and the limits of electronic warfare. The operators launching them understood that survival depended on silence. No continuous radio control, no unnecessary emissions. Once airborne, the drone would fly largely on inertial navigation, using pre-programmed routes calculated to minimize exposure to known radar coverage. The launch itself was brief. Open-source intelligence researchers later noted that many Ukrainian drone launches lasted under 2 minutes, with teams trained to pack up and disappear almost immediately. Russian electronic warfare units, including systems such as Pol-21 and JITL, were actively monitoring for GPS anomalies. Even a millisecond-long signal could give away a launch area. According to Russian military doctrine papers discussed by independent analysts, finding the operators mattered more than destroying the drone. As the drone climbed, it remained low, skimming beneath optimal radar angles. Composite materials widely used in Ukrainian long-range UAVs scatter radar energy rather than reflecting it cleanly. Western radar engineers interviewed by defense publications have repeatedly confirmed that small drones flying low at night can appear indistinguishable from clutter or even birds, especially when terrain masking is involved. Inside the MiG's cockpit, the pilot continued the patrol. The aircraft's radar was optimized to search forward and outward for airborne threats, not for something small approaching from below or from an unexpected vector. Russian air defense doctrine, as analyzed by NATO-linked research groups, assumes layered detection ground radar, airborne radar, and electronic warfare working together. But systems only work when they detect something to classify. Minutes passed. Distance closed. The Ukrainian drone did not rush. According to analysts who reviewed similar strikes documented by Reuters and the Associated Press, timing was everything. The drone's operators were not chasing the jet. They were predicting it. Patrol routes repeat. Altitudes remain consistent. Human pilots rely on habit because habit reduces workload. At a critical moment, the drone climbed. There was still no warning, no missile tone, no evasive maneuver. What happened next was reconstructed after the fact using satellite imagery, debris analysis, and statements from both Ukrainian and Russian sources. Video fragments released by Ukrainian channels showed a sudden flash in the sky. Russian emergency communications intercepted and later reported by independent monitoring groups suggested the aircraft had been lost almost instantly. According to Western defense analysts, cited by CNN and the BBC, the drone did not need to destroy the entire jet. A high-speed impact into a critical area engine intake, cockpit section, or fuel line would be enough. At combat speeds, even a relatively small explosive payload or kinetic strike can be catastrophic. Here is where the story changes. Russian military statements initially framed such incidents as air defense accidents or mechanical failures. That is standard practice. But satellite imagery reviewed by international media later showed scorch marks and debris patterns inconsistent with ground fire. Open-source investigators comparing timelines noticed something else. Russian electronic warfare units had been actively hunting Ukrainian drone teams in the hours before the loss. They believed they had succeeded. Russian sources claimed that Ukrainian operators were neutralized during follow-on strikes. Artillery and loitering munitions were reportedly launched at suspected control points. From the Russian perspective, the threat was over. The drone, without guidance, would be harmless. But according to Ukrainian officials speaking to Western journalists under condition of anonymity, the operators had already disappeared. The control relay was deliberately separated from the human team. The final guidance correction had been uploaded before Russian systems reacted. The drone no longer needed instructions. The jet was already doomed. This is the part that most people miss. Modern warfare is no longer about who has the fastest aircraft or the most expensive weapons. It is about who understands systems and people better. Fighter jets can be replaced. Airframes can be rebuilt. Trained operators capable of launching, navigating, hiding, and surviving under constant electronic surveillance cannot. Western military analysts writing in journals such as War on the Rocks have emphasized this shift repeatedly. The cost imbalance is staggering. A jet worth tens of millions of dollars brought down by a system that costs a fraction of that. Not because of superior firepower, but because of patience, planning, and psychological pressure. The final shock is this: there was no dramatic chase, no last-second maneuver, no heroic radio call. The pilot likely never knew what hit them. The operators never saw the impact in real time. And the systems designed to protect the aircraft reacted too late to matter. This is what modern air warfare looks like now: quiet, asymmetric, unforgiving. And this is only one confirmed example among many that analysts believe are still unreported or deliberately obscured. If you want to understand how wars are actually being fought, not how press releases describe them, but how systems fail, how humans adapt, and how the balance of power is quietly shifting, this is where those stories are told. Stay here, subscribe, because the next lesson in modern warfare will arrive without warning.